great walkout song there too.
I enjoyed Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Movement does look like a little MMA match here.
Yeah, I think we're probably not going to see a guard pull. And, yeah.
I mean,
Hopefully
it doesn't
not a
look like,
punch.
hopefully not a head kick. Yeah, it looks like,
Okay.
and immediately looking to overwrap with that left arm for the guillotine. And I mean, like an important technical point about that guillotine, you don't want to. I mean, if you're known to use it a lot, then perhaps that's one thing, but you don't want to show it too much from a position where you're not going to get it. You want to, especially if you're going up against someone with a bit of an MMA background where there's possibly a chance of them shooting a takedown, that would be the ideal. They shoot a takedown and then you can catch the guillotine off of that. So maybe Jade being a little bit too aggressive with that, but as I say that, there's the shot and there is the guillotine attempt.
Nice.
Suzanne doing a great job, but that hand position is very, very loose there. You can see Jade just scrambling to try and get that right hand onto position here, and Suzanne is going to strip that grip quite easily there. I mean, Jade not giving it up. This is, I mean, grabbing onto her finger there. I would have given up this guillotine attempt about 5 minutes ago, but you've got to give respect to Jade.
And Suzanne hasn't advanced off of it either. Do you know what I mean? I know
She hasn't
she's trying
advanced
to
because I
go
think,
high.
I mean, Jade is a very powerful and a very physical grappler. And I mean, she is putting torque into this neck here. You can see, even though the position doesn't look super strong, you can see Suzanne Wilson is really trying to have the fight to get out of there.
Yeah.
And she finally does.
Now, would you say that the hair creates some extra friction there with the guillotines?
Absolutely. I talk about hair and guillotines all the time, almost every day, in fact. Yep, pretty much. I wake up and I just talk to myself in the mirror about how hair affects the guillotine choke. But it does, especially if you wear like a high bun, can act as it makes it much more difficult to roll the shoulder over the top. But once you're in there, once you're in there, it locks it in a little bit more. So, I mean, really an endless depth
Details.
in a true well of musings regarding the relationship between the guillotine choke and different hairstyles. Fascinating.
I wasn't expecting that much depth.
I'm really glad you asked me about it, because it is sometimes a borderline obsession, to be honest with you. But you know,
There's a whole seminar series on that. So definitely.
we have a series of 12 unreleased video essays about the topic to be put out public posthumously.
Jade's doing a good job with this lockdown position in half guard too, again, stopping Suzanne from advancing from here.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see Jade try and get out of this half guard position before attacking these guillotines. I mean, but also, I mean, this is something we need to talk about.
She's attacking
She's
herself.
attacking submissions.
Yeah.
And even though positionally it's not super tight, the reaction that her opponent has created makes it very hard to deny that this is a legitimate submission attempt. So right now, based on our scoring criteria, I say that Jade is up.
We're seeing this lockdown position again.
And I mean, Suzanne is doing a great job with the that shoulder pressure and trying to free that leg and get back into try and pass.
Yeah, that knee is free now.
Are we in the mount control? Oh, not quite.
Not quite, no.
We could see Suzanne transition over to the back maybe from here. Jade is really over towards the side at the moment.
I mean, the one saving grace in terms of the back take is that right arm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jade doing a good job framing there and trying to get more of the legs on the inside. I'd love to see Jade get back to something like a butterfly guard where she'll have more of an opportunity to create space, distance, get the height right to possibly attack the guillotine again. There we go, that's better.
It did look like Suzanne was thinking about going for a knee slice. Basic knee cut
So this is
to her pass
the
there,
basic
but
knee
didn't. The infamous basic knee cut, but didn't quite.
basic knee cut in a single match has gone to iconic knee
Yeah.
cut.
Rightly so.
Now, very, very high guard position. I expect to see Jade cut an angle and look to attack an armbar from here.
Good flexibility from Jade too.
We've seen this a lot this evening, actually.
High guard, yeah.
Yeah, but the pulling of the leg to really get it.
There's the angle change and possible triangle here, but Suzanne does a really good job. And once again, Jade looking to attack the guillotine from a position I would not recommend attacking the guillotine from. And it does
lovely
end with
pass.
a beautiful pass from Suzanne.
Still plenty of time on the clock here too.
Plenty of time on the clock. And I mean, a really good example of how this rule set works. It comes down to how legitimately you judge those two submission attempts. And I think not based on the position, but based on the reaction, I think that right now Jade is winning this match. What do you reckon, Sam?
No, I would agree.
Vanessa?
Yeah, I would agree.
I think that, even
Yeah.
if Suzanne maintained positional dominance here, it's not going to be enough. She is
Although
going to have to attack.
It does depend on whether the judges decided that was
Yeah.
a legitimate attempt, so we can't always say for certain.
No. And yeah, we cannot be sure about anything. And as we watch this, we're not focusing on the scoring criteria, even though it's something that we think about. We leave that to the hands of the judges, but it is something interesting to theorize about, at least.
I mean, there's been attempts, hasn't there? So
There's been attempts, yeah.
yeah.
And the whole point of that rule system is to encourage attacking submissions and attacking submissions at the possible detriment of positions. That's the whole point, which is if you reward a triangle attempt more than you reward a guard pass, then that is going to encourage people to attack the triangle even if they get their guard pass. Because, but talking about submission attempts, this is a legitimate submission attempt. As she tries to circle around here, she's setting up.
The north-south choke.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
but
she's
the
going to continue to
hands-
move around and go for a DAS, actually.
Oh.
I think she's going to try and use her hips to move the right
The
arm of
arm.
Jade to the far side. And Jade's doing a really good job of keeping those hands locked in between there and frames on here really, really nicely and blocks that. And then we have the discussion of, well, did that count as a submission attempt? I think it had more potential, but didn't elicit as much of a reaction.
Yeah. Luckily for us, we don't decide. We leave
Luckily
that
for
to the
everyone,
judges.
really.
Yeah. But going back to what you were saying, Dan, with the, weighing it higher to sort of throw up a triangle than worry about getting your guard pass, that's where we get this such nice interaction between the two, where 1 minute you've got one opponent that's locked in a submission, the next minute, less than 20 seconds later, the other person's
They
then
go
in
for
an
it.
armbar.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's great, and that's what's so entertaining to see.
Ref here making sure that the girls get back in the right position to send to the mat.
Yeah, I guess when the only currency in this game is submissions, you're going to see a lot of them.
Yeah, you say this, but sometimes the rule set doesn't quite bring it out in people. I think we've been quite fortunate that the women are, they want to put on a show, they want to go for it. But there are certain rule sets where people become very static and they know that they're going to win with sort of dominant control, and that's all that they go for.
The reality is that it's impossible to force excitement in any grappling rule set. It's impossible to force it because it really does come down to the individuals that are competing under that rule set, regardless whether it's EBI rules or quintet rules or Polaris rules, and all of them are designed for excitement. You get boring matches on all of them.
Absolutely.
And then you get IBJJF that a lot of people would complain that it doesn't it doesn't create an environment for the most exciting matches, and you get crazy, insane matches. It all comes down to the individual, but these rule sets are just about trying to shift the balance maybe a little bit more towards excitement. And so far tonight we've seen so many quick submissions that it would be hard to argue against it. But the credit goes more to the athletes involved than it does to the rule set.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen shows that go with the IBJJF rule set, and it was phenomenal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It really does come down to the athlete themselves.
Guillotine attempt from side control there.
It's getting a little bit more desperate every time, and there's still
that was a close mount.
There's still an
Not
interesting
quite.
question, I think, about the submissions. The positional dominance has been incredibly one-sided. It's all been Suzanne Wilson, but how much gravitas are we placing upon those early submission attempts?
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting decision if we continue for the next 30 seconds.
You got to think if it doesn't go in favour of Suzanne Wilson, the better performer on the day has not won, but that is the thing about we need to see Suzanne really going for submissions here. And she's in a great position to do so. 15 seconds left, and I think this could be a significant, even if it's not, you know, just locking up something here that has potential, could be a really significant moment in this match. I mean, even a little grab of a twisting footlock at the end there. I mean, a really a fun match there.
Interesting.
Yeah, I do not know which direction this is
Yeah.
going to go. I think my heart's telling me Suzanne Wilson's going to take it, and I would think you can't argue against it.
Hopefully we'll see these guillotine attempts as well again, and we can maybe make a bit more of a judgment. I mean, again, this
I mean,
is
it's a nice high elbow there.
I mean, it looked nice, but the hands weren't connected. If those hands were connected, I think that Jade would have finished that guillotine because the position of the actual choking arm was really, really good. It was just she continued to prioritize attacking just with that guillotine over getting to a good position to do it from.
I would not like to be the judges right now.
No, me neither.
And your winner, ladies and gentlemen, by judges' decision, fighting out of the red corner, Suzanne Wilson!
There we have it.
Suzanne.
So the positional dominance was probably considered higher than the threat of the guillotines.
As we said, it was going to be a difficult decision for the judges.
Absolutely.
I'm with your winner, Suzanne Wilson. Suzanne, quite a tough match there, and we were really debating because the interesting part of the rule set where positionally you absolutely dominated, but then Jade had 2 submission attempts early, so we really didn't know which way it was going to go. Did that play into your mind at all, the rule set?
A little bit. I'm predominantly an MMA fighter, so obviously the control bit is so important for me because I'm normally like hitting people on the ground. There's a sub where I'm trying to get sort of like, I suppose backwards head and arm. I was trying to stuff her arm, I just wasn't getting it. She's super, super tight with her limbs, so a bit disappointed. I want to show more scramble ability. I just was like, oh, no, you've got a good position because Jade's been training more. Like, she's been around, she's a pro MMA fighter, she's a tough girl, so I was like, don't give her anything because she's going to mess you up. So wish I could give more, but I'd love to be back and show more scrambles.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think you gave a great account of your skills. I mean, you weren't able to really get too many submission attempts. I'm sure you would have liked more, but in terms of your positional, your movement, your defensive work, everything looked pretty much on point. So have you enjoyed your first experience on Enyo?
I guess I've fought on a lot of different shows, and it's weird. You can tell this is a show run by women because it is so organised. Like, everything was done last week. I was like, normally everyone's running around like, oh no. And this was, it's such inspirational to be with these women. A lot of them I've kind of watched growing up as like a young fighter and then going into coaching young girls. And like, I've got like students back at home watching me, and it means the world to me, yeah.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Suzanne Wilson.